Yeah, again, teenagers and phones are inseparable if we're not careful. So what we have opted to do is to try and instill in them a discipline to use it when only necessary.
So whatever time they use in those applications cumulatively, when it reaches 1.5 hours, the phone completely shuts off.
And children should not begin to introduce values and begin to argue around those values, because that's how they begin to take you around.
About values, I like what you said about values. There's a set of values here, because where we are also, there's freedom of all manner of things. It's really not freedom, but it's sold to them as freedom.
This time, parents and children are spending a lot of time together at home. And like during a normal holiday where you go to work, you come back in the evening, now you have a lot of time at home. And of course, when people stay together, conflicts are likely to arise. I don't know whether you've had experienced any conflict with your teenagers. How are you handling that?
The thing is, parents need to realize you remain parents in the house and outside the house. And conflicts are, it's possible to have conflicts in any situation where people are sitting together, friction occurs. But one of the things you should never let is people to take your children to take people right and begin to what can I say, sit on you as parents. When you have house rules, let them be house rules. Family rules must always remain family rules, whether they like it or not. You will tell me that yes, we need to have a discussion, but discussions should be based on what you have set as values as a family. And therefore, they should take precedence. And children should not begin to introduce values and begin to argue around those values, because that's how they begin to take you around. I say this before, children are very independent, are very strong, and they can be very manipulative. And they know your weaknesses and strengths as parents. And when they know that they can, they will always rub you the wrong way. So we would have those ones, but they must work within our, agenda, within our rules.
Yes. So one other thing is that what about conflicts within themselves? Of course, they have conflicts within themselves. Right now they're big. So what happens whenever I notice there's conflict? I don't interfere. I let them handle it to the end. Okay, they have not got physical in terms of fighting, but they have a way of sorting themselves out. So I only come in when I feel that somebody is being unfair. I say, no, I think what you're saying is not right, and probably you're being too biased on the other person. Just listen. So I only come in between an argument when I feel the other person is being oppressed. But somehow they have a way of sorting themselves out. So I watch from listening keenly and just guiding their discussions, guiding their thoughts, guiding their reactions even to each other. So that has really helped us. But there are rules, and our rules is that you don't shout at each other. There is no abusive language. There are some kind of languages which are not accepted at the house level, so we don't expect to hear. You don't abuse your brother, you don't pull them down or anything like that. If you disagree, just disagree and agree. Now you find that each child responds differently, because like the small one has a way of and then he wants to come very strongly and very defensive. And the bigger ones are like, yeah, you're young. So he's like, I'm older than you. You guys. So that's very, very interesting. So I allow them to go through that process, and then I say, yeah, indeed, actually, this one's is louder than you, is older than you, but what they're saying is right. So therefore, you should listen. Then I also tell the bigger person, this is what you're saying. So it's small, but be kind and say it kindly the way you say it. So they learn. So somehow God has helped us to walk through sorting their conflicts.
What parents should realize is that conflicts in siblings arise out of too much thinking about themselves. Somebody thinks too much about themselves, and that is what causes a lot of friction in families. So things must be done my way or in my favor. Okay? If you begin to teach them that life is not about them alone, but about others as well, they will begin to respect others. That spirit of self-seeking is what causes a lot of conflict. Begin to teach them life is not about they themselves alone. Because if it doesn't happen in the family, it will happen out there. And they will even go to workplaces and fight everybody. So in the family, they need to know that we are a family, and that it's not my interests that must be looked at first at the expense of others. All of us are a family, and we must look at things equally.
Wow. Oh, thank you for that, because I'm hearing you say that you're letting them learn how to manage conflict themselves without looking, up to you all the time to do it for them. Because they will experience conflict without teaching them also or the values to observe, even as they handle the conflict with one another.
Yes.
That is quite profound. As we wait for the Oukos to join us.
I like what Lydia said, because before, when they were younger, around 7, 8, I used to go in and try and talk to them and, hey, you do this.
What I was saying is I'm just keen to hear, how do we encourage friendship? How do we encourage teamwork amongst the siblings? Because now they have to coexist, and when you coexist, it means there gives, there takes. That teamwork, what are some things you've discovered that can assist in teamwork and friendship?
Yes, I watch them and see only somebody's getting hurt. That's when I walk in to say, hey, stop it. These are you can't do that. Yes. And then, of course, the foul language. It's like everything that Lydia said, that's just the way. And then Lydia and Eric, that's about values. I like what you said about values. There's a set of values here. Because where we are also, there's freedom of all manner of things. It's really not freedom, but it's sold to them as freedom. You can do everything, you can say anything you want, and your parent cannot, doesn't have authority. There's authority out there, there's the police, there's all manner of things. But the values, what core values have they grown up with? There's some things you don't do and some you do. Yeah. So that's what has helped us, cope with conflict. Even now, in an enclosed space, when you're all together, there was one day one of the teens was behaving like a toddler, and Robert said, okay, no problem. What did you do?
I told him, okay, you're behaving like a baby, so fine. We are going to get you back to lockdown. So go to your room only until you behave like, a 15-year-old, then we'll treat you like a 15-year-old. But if you talk like that, okay, fine. Then you've become a baby now. Okay, so you're on timeout. Go to your room for 30 minutes. He came up 17 years. He came back down 17-year-old.
He was so good.
Yeah.
Just a quick question. Do you think that this lockdown is causing the children to experience some levels of stress, maybe sometimes? And do you observe that, and how are you dealing with that?
Okay, we've noticed there's some level of stress, and I mean, like now, to alleviate that, to walk in wisdom with that stress, the thing we've done is we've also not been too strict as we would, during the normal times, when if they want to go out, they would go out. If they want to go and play, they would play, because part of the frustration of our sons is that they are sports kids. One is footballer.
Wow.
And they were working for good season. It had started well. And so everything has been shut down. So they are frustrated that, all their plans, some of them are planning to win trophies. What's going to happen? So there's that frustration. So we are trying to mellow down a little bit, but also, with the understanding that, okay, fine, we'll give exigencies for them to play video games. But even with that, they still, they're trying to test our limits, because one of them yesterday came and told us, oh, you see, for you've only allowed us football and basketball. But our cousins have this game, they have this game, but it won't make Fortnite, it won't make me be violent.
GTA, I don't know.
GTA. So we told them, no, this is a discussion we're not reopening. What I told you before is any game that has violence in it, don't even come to ask me. It's the same. It has been, I think, 6 years now. You've had your game box. Don't ask me anymore. If you come and ask me even 5 years to come, I'll still tell you the same thing. But why is it our cousins have these things and us we don't have? I said, your cousins, they live in a different house, and they have their own values. They have the things they allow in their house, and they have things they don't allow. But for us, we have different sets of values. For us, that games that a gun, someone is shooting someone, or a car is going to, or a thief running away from the police, we cannot accept this kind of games. So I'm sorry, the game is violent. So please, we just have to work with it. When you're adult and you've gone into your own home, then you can have those games. But for us, we know that God doesn't want us to accept any form of violence. You might not understand it now, but in our house, it's not accepted. So just work with what you have.
Yeah, the one who made us build made Robert build a basketball
hoop
with a hanger. Yeah, he took a hanger, pulled a pole out of something. The basketball hoop is right there. It looks so bad, but it's very good. It's well done. Well done. It's so bad.
What?
So good.
I think I'm having mixed feelings here.
It's very true that with this lockdown, there's some stress, because like the other day they were saying, Mom, we've been here now for about 3 or 4 weeks. We have not left.
Rest is helpful. We have had a restful time. That's almost it.